Gara Dhammo Mihi Jarang Anatito. Alright, so today is day 3, right? Day 3 or day 4?
3 of the suttas.
I
think 5 of the whole thing.
5 of the Samyutta Nikaya, 3 of the suttas. Okay. Right, so today we will focus on the 7th, not penetrated. So it's at Savatthi, standing the one side, and that Devata recited this verse in the presence of the Blessed One. So still continuing from the same. Those who have not penetrated things, who may be led into others' doctrine. Oh, we've done this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go to utterly muddled. At Savatthi, standing to one side, the Devata recited this verse in the presence of the Blessed One. Those who are utterly muddled about things, who may be led into others' doctrine. Fast asleep, they have not yet awakened. It is time for them to awaken. And then the Blessed One says, those who aren't muddled about things. So muddled, what does it mean, muddled?
Confused.
So muddled, basically not knowing what should be known. And then pick and mix. Pick and mix, and this is what normally happens in the West. Normally people, when they come to meditation or Buddhism, once they have studied this technique and they want to put that technique, they want to learn that technique, and different techniques and mixing.
Want to do yoga?
You want to do yoga, Reiki, Kundalini, and Vipassana, and Buddha, and breathing. So go on with and then end of the day thinking, oh, it's not working. So the Buddhism is not working to me. Doesn't make sense to me.
Because you're not doing Buddhism.
Like that. So pick and mix. We're trying to pick from here, we are trying to pick from there, and then trying to match it. And with this, and there won't be any strong faith in it.
They never master one thing.
Suppose I have met so many as well. I have seen so many people come to meditation, and then after 1 or 2 times of a meditation, then they began to ask questions about, Achan, can I do this way? Can I do that way? This Achan says so, this way, and then that Achan taught me that way. And what should I do? And then this is better, that is better, like that.
They start bringing crystals as well, and crystals give you powers.
Like different techniques, and use it, and then end of the day, after a couple of times, they will just disappear. Like that. So that means, here basically means they will be going to the others' doctrine, others, following others. But here Buddha said, those awakened ones, so fully awakened, one who has known exactly what it is, what should be done, and they have done properly, then they will not change their mind. And their mind will not be shaken by any other things, because haven't known exactly what it is. And here, uneven, I like the simile of this the stone on top of the mountain that is unshaken by the wind or the rain. It stands firmly, like that. Right?
Stands firmly.
So
So
that
if you practice one way and you master it, you cannot be shaken.
yeah, because you know ins and outs.
It's like you're so familiar with, let's say, like the breath.
Yeah.
You're so familiar with it, instead of doing the breath in one session and the next session trying to do like falling and rising, or next session trying to do Buddha. It's like you will never get anywhere.
Yeah. So that's first of all, when we are practicing meditation, we have to stick with one technique until we know at least of how to be there, how to be mindful, and how does it work.
Is it okay to do sometimes if like seeing what arises rather than sticking just with the breath? Like if there is pain, just look at the pain.
Yeah, that's definitely okay.
Okay.
That's a part of it. So breath is the primary object if you're practicing breathing meditation.
Okay.
So breath is the primary object, but when you are experiencing other feelings or other so-called secondary objects, then you can go. But when you're coming back, you're not going to the rising, falling. Yeah, then that's okay. You're coming back to the breath.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
I never, like since I started, I've only been doing the breath. I haven't been trying to do a Buddha or any of those things.
Yeah, in that case, okay. But the only matter is when you become mindful of any other, like a pain or a itchiness in our body or the sound, as soon as it fades away, you need to come back with the breath, not going to the abdomen, rising, falling, or the crystal, like that. Okay? So, and that's absolutely fine. Because that practice is known as the vipassana practice. But if you're practicing samatha meditation, then you are not going anywhere. You're simply focusing on the breath alone. You discard any other things. Only breath.
Do you force yourself?
Yes. You're forcing yourself.
But does that lead to wisdom?
That is purely towards the contemplation.
Okay.
Concentration, meditation. So it's not for the wisdom. Wisdom you can later on, but not at that moment.
Okay.
So wisdom part comes in this way of a technique, as you develop up to the 4th jhanas. After you develop up to the 4th jhanas, then you reverse back to look at your own perception.
Okay, so you have to develop your samatha up to the 4th jhana.
Yeah, after 4th jhana, then you are going into the investigation of perception, emptiness, and then emptiness of perception, and perception itself.
So if you are doing just vipassana, can you obtain wisdom without the 4 jhanas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you're practicing inside vipassana meditation, you are not stick with one object. Yeah. One object is a primary object, is basically a standpoint. You stand there and observe everything what's happening.
Okay.
So basically you are practicing wisdom from the beginning. And the samadhi or the concentration is not a firm like the jhanas. It's like, it is called a momentary concentration. So you have a momentary concentration on the objects. And with this, as you develop, what happens is you understand the changing nature. Momentary concentration teaching us to know the momentary arising and falling away.
Okay.
Moment by moment, moment by moment, moment by moment. So it's easy to be detached. Yeah.
Okay.
just need to click the mind from seeing it, clicking that, oh, this arises, now this arises, now this arises, now this arises. Why this arise? Because it's gone. Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's dependent origination it comes.
Okay.
Yeah?
Just by watching, like just noticing how, okay, this is done, this is gone.
Yeah.
Now that, now
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So here, one which is fading away become the cause to arise another one. Yeah? And as soon as another one come to the vision, the first one already gone. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah? First one already out of the scene now. The new one replaced it. When new one replaced, now the first one is already gone, and this new one doesn't last long either.
It's gone as well.
Yeah. But it is very strong at that time, yeah? In its primal time, the climax, it's just the one. And as soon as it's begun to fall down, okay, it's the quality, the strength of the mind become a lesson, or the mind's attachment to or entertaining with this object loosens.
So you learn to let go with each moment.
You don't have to learn to let go. You will let go by itself.
Because you have to. When you're doing
It's not like a have to, but it's that this is going to happen.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not, it is going to happen. And all what we need is to know that this is happening. Yeah? So when it fades, yeah, when the mind begins to basically being bored, being bored of doing the same thing. The mind is having this object as a climax, and when it is in the climax, we entertain. And after a few moments, oh, it's boring. I need something else. So it falls. Yeah. As soon as mind falls to entertain with the this present object, that moment, back of the mind subconsciously brings another vision, another object, blurred vision. And as soon as it comes to the end, like this is coming to the, just about to touch, the vision becomes more visible. And as soon as it drops, now you see the whole vision so clearly. Yeah? So clearly. Like this is the only one there now. This is the present moment. Yeah? So this is the only one there. There is no other object. So mind becomes single with it.
It is so subtle that you can see through.
Yeah. And then this comes to the existence, and it's become a climax. Yeah. Gradually we entertain. Gradually we like it. Gradually we perform and proliferate or entertain and go on and on and on. And as soon as it comes to the climax, onto the top, again we feel bored. And it comes back again.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like that. So when we are not trained, it continues like this at all the time.
Yeah, we just don't see it.
Yeah, it's going on all the time.
Yeah.
And now the trained mind, what happens is, as soon as it drops, when this is blurred, and now here we have a choice. We want to go with this one, arising one, or we want to come back to the my one. So separation.
So you can see the gap and you can choose to stay in the gap.
Yeah.
Is that a jhana?
It's not a jhana, it's a knowledge.
Okay. Wow.
Because you have seen that this is continued rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Then why should I continue? I better come to the moment here that I know, which is happening right now, and which is completely against with what mind has created, which a desire has created. Continue going on. So we have stopped there. And with this, we become detached to this process of going. Okay, and why we become detached to? Because we've seen the impermanence of everything that arises, vanishes, arises, vanishes.
So, is there any particular reason that we don't do samatha and do vipassana instead?
We can.
Is it
We
just
can.
harder or?
It's just harder. And also samatha meditation. In order to practice the samatha meditation, one has to know their temperament properly. And only then you can choose one of the techniques. And that will give some fruit. Otherwise, if you have taken wrong temperament, then it will be very, very hard to get the samadhi. And even that may take you to the frustration or anger, like that.
So why is this not working?
Yeah. Whereas vipassana meditation is something like a neutral.
Yeah.
Anybody can have it, and you don't have to have a great concentration. Sound concentration is quite enough. All what you need is to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
You know what's going on.
So it's okay if I sort of lose concentration, because that's alright, it's just part of the thing, I'm just going to come back.
Yeah.
But with samatha,
You have to be.
force yourself.
Yeah.
It sounds very exhausting.
Yeah. It's like a concentration camp.
Yeah. The boot camp is beating you, like just do it, just watch your story. So do you think it's better to sort of develop, be more skillful with vipassana before you try samatha?
Well, samatha comes along with the vipassana.
Okay, I see. So it's not like independent, they help each other.
You can, but in samatha you can, but vipassana you always have to have a samatha hand in hand.
Okay. So when you develop your vipassana skills, your samatha skills automatically
It
improve.
develops.
I think I've noticed that with my practice, It's like I just can't stay longer with the breath than I did before. Like before it was, just 1 or 2 is gone.
So that samatha is needed. Without samatha, you cannot practice vipassana.
Yeah,
That's why you have to have a quality, or have to have understanding of how to control your mind. So that's why no matter where you go to practice, you are given to practice with one object. That is a samatha practice. But when you are asked to practice on the one object, you're working on that. Now, depending on which school or depending on which institute you went, some would say, okay, leave the object, watch what is coming. Yeah.
Is that still samatha?
No, that's now you're going into the vipassana, you see.
Okay.
Yeah? And then some institute will say, forget about what is going on, just be with it. And now here is trying to practice the samatha more. And then as you able to control yourself, be with the object for some times, and then you're asked to maybe scan the body, aware of the body. And that's now you're moving into the practice of a vipassana.
So it's like very blurred between the two techniques, right? Yeah.
So that actually Buddha said in Anguttara Nikaya 4 ways of a practice. One is samatha leading to vipassana. Second, vipassana leading to the samatha. And then a third, vipassana with investigation.
Define investigation.
Yeah. So it's analytical.
Okay.
Analyzing. So and then the last one is yoniso manasikara. So that's a deep one, the difficult one. And that's basically like a sudden enlightenment.
Yeah, okay. Sure. If that was possible,
Yeah, this is one in Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha mentioned clearly. So that's why when people debate about samatha is this, vipassana is this, samatha is better, vipassana is better, like that. Nonsense. Buddha never said. Buddha said this way. Sometimes samatha leading to the vipassana.
Yeah.
Some technique leading to the vipassana. Some technique vipassana leading to the samatha.
So it's not like it's just gonna happen one way or another. You're gonna be doing both sooner or
And then the third one is basically vipassana with the yoni samanasikara, or the analytical. It's already samatha and vipassana working together too, both together, hand in hand.
You can't analyze without something.
No.
What is it?
9, quarter to 9. Like that. Okay?
Yeah, like it would be the one time when I can't quite remember, I was trying to analyze something that came up, but I realized I just don't have enough concentration to do this. Like, because it was so minute, like I realized I would have to be able to see it such a really tiny little space that I do not have the power of concentration to be able to do this.
So it needs to develop together. Okay? Like that. Right, so next one. Next one saying, there is no taming here for one fond of conceit. So you cannot train yourself when you are so much into the conceit. It won't be, I am the best, I know everything, I am good at it.
Yes. You don't need to learn, you don't need to practice it, you're so good already.
So you cannot train, there is no taming technique there. Nor is there sagehood for the unconcentrated. Sagehood means noble. Sage is becoming a sage.
You can't be a normal one if you're not concentrated. So without samatha you can't be a normal one.
Okay. Through dwelling alone in the forest, heedless, one cannot cross beyond the realms of death. And this is spoken by the devata, deity. And the Buddha said, having abandoned conceit, well concentrated, with lofty mind, everywhere released. While dwelling alone in the forest, delighted, one can cross beyond the realms of death. So deity used heedless, Buddha used diligent, not delight, diligent.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. So diligence is the way.
Heedless is like pamada. It's unmindful.
Unmindful. Okay. So you have to be diligent.
Heedless.
Not caring is what I...
Sorry, heedless. Mindfulness, not unmindful. Heedless. Heedlessness is mindfulness.
Heedlessness.
Heedfulness. Is it?
I thought heedless was not caring.
Yeah, not caring. Heedless, no. Let me see what. Doesn't say. Though dwelling alone in the forest, heedless, one cannot cross. Oh, heedless, yes. Pamada, unmindful. Unmindful, cannot cross the deathless. Can overcome the death. And the diligent is the way. And here, the commentary says, so it's here diligent is more of a like a threefold training. By the abandoning the conceit, the higher virtue is implied. By well concentrated susamahito, the training in concentration or a higher mind, and by lofty mind suchetaso, denoting a mind endowed with wisdom, the training in the higher wisdom, abhipanya. To this we might add that the last phrase, everywhere released, sabbadi vipamutto, points to the culmination of the threefold training in liberation. Here is talking about adhi sila sikha, adhi chitta sikha, and adhi panya sikha.
Adhi is great, right? So you need to sort of increase all these things beyond.
Like a sila, basically we have 5 precepts. When we talk about adhi sila sikha, then it comes under the Eightfold Noble Path. In a basic level, it is not coming to the Eightfold Noble Path. But when we talk about adhi sila sikha, means talking about the Eightfold Noble Path. And the whole Visuddhi Magga is the adhi sila sikha, adhi samadhi sikha, and adhi panya sikha. The commentary on that.
The whole of it is just...
There's only 3 topics. The whole Visuddhi Magga is on 3 topics.
Massive book.
Yeah, massive one. I forgot the sutta now. No, sorry, verse. The god, one of the deities, asked the Buddha that Anto jata bahi jata jataya jatita paja. Anto jata bahi jata jataya jatita paja tang tang gautama puchama ko imang vichataye jata. So this is a god's, it will come here, somewhere around. So this is from here, on the Samyutta Nikaya. So somewhere, probably we will come to this.
Sounds like a Deva thing, so it should be close.
Yeah, Deva asked to the Buddha. So that means, Anto jata bahi jata. We are tangled outside and inside. Anto jata bahi jata jataya jatita paja. And we are so tangled in our life that it's so difficult to untangle. And now, Gautama, the Buddha, Blessed One, I would like to ask you, who could untangle these tangles? So that was the question. And then the Buddha answered that Sile patithaya naro sapanyo. Sile patithaya naro sapanyo chittang panyancha bhavayam. So Sile patithaya naro sapanyo. Naro sapanyo. Sapanyo means the wise one. Naro means a people, person. Wise person will established in the sila. Patithaya, established. In the sila. Chittang bhavaya bhavancha chittang bhaveta panya. So development of concentration and wisdom. So that person will untangle the tangle.
Yeah.
And on the basis of these two conversations, and based on this answer the Buddha gave to this deity, the whole Visuddhimagga written.
Wow.
So explanation. It's like a first dissertation ever in the history of world.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because dissertations are like, I don't know, philosophy as well, it's just one line in a book, they write like hundreds of pages. So.
Yeah, so like that. So it's a first dissertation written by Buddha Ghosha.
And still accepted as the, the most useful sort of
Manual.
practice.
Yeah. Manual.
We have to read it also.
Yeah. That is the Visuddhimagga. So that's whole Visuddhimagga is talking about from basic sila to the advance. Samadhi also. So from basic to the advance.
Okay.
So if you want to know the 40 types of a meditation, samatha meditation, techniques, and how to practice, so you have to go to this book.
So, I mean, you could just have this one book.
Yeah.
That would be enough.
Enough to understand.
The practice.
All 40 types of samatha meditation techniques you would not get anywhere else apart from in this book.
Wow. It's very amazing. So
Other places it's just scattered in a Tipitaka.
So in trying to write this dissertation, Buddha also read everything and understood everything was in the Tipitaka as well to write it.
Yes.
And I guess he also talked to a lot of practicing monks as well.
Yeah.
All over Sri Lanka.
So he compiled it. And he also added more.
Based on his own experience.
Based on his knowledge. He added some more in there. So that's why there are scholars disagree with some of the techniques that is in the Visuddhimagga.
Okay.
And the methods.
Yeah, too yogic or something.
Yeah. Because the Buddha Ghosha was a Hindu, Brahmin. So he had a knowledge about the Trived, Vedas. So he imported from the Vedas in there too.
I see.
Like that. Yeah. So that's why the whole 40 types of a meditation, it's compiled in that book.
And I don't see much wrong if he brought something from the Vedas if it's not wrong read. Did he bring any wrong reads?
Didn't, but just the techniques of meditation.
So it's like just for developing for jhanas and not for gaining enlightenment.
And then after, so the first section talks about the sila, second section talks about the samadhi. So the samadhi in the section, samadhi section is talking about all 40 types of meditation. And then the wisdom section, so it's a vipassana section.
Yeah, so very interesting.
Like that. So that is the Visuddhimagga. And now this is what a Buddha was talking about here. Diligent. So diligently practicing. So that way, abandoning conceit, concentrated, lofty mind, everywhere released.
It's always what I'm getting is that in Buddhism, diligence is key. That you just have to put in the time.
Diligent.
Just make it.
Okay.
Hard work rewarded.
Huh?
Hard work is rewarded.
Right, next one, okay? So the same Devata asks the Buddha, those who dwell deep in the forest, peaceful, leading the holy life, eating but a single meal a day, why is their complexion so serene?
It's like a monk, why they look so happy.
This is about the monk actually. Basically, monks are living mostly in the forest, and eating one meal a day. And why they look fit, why they look so calm, why their complexion looks so bright. Yeah. Let me read the commentary, what it says further. The answer is even better. The Buddha, when you read the answer, so beautiful. This one. Let me read the commentary first. It says, the verse was spoken by an earthbound deva, Deva. So, who dwell in that forest. So this deva, living in that Savatthi deva forest, having seen the monks. So, each day he would see the bhikkhus who inhabited the forest sitting in meditation after their meal. As they sat, their minds would become unified and serene. And the serenity of their minds would become manifest in their complexion. Puzzled that day that they could have such serene faces while living under these austere conditions. The Deva came to the Buddha to inquire into the cause. The facial complexion or complexion of the skin is understood to indicate success in meditation.
Like if you become fat,
Okay.
hard luck guy.
Yeah.
So they have no comfort, no luxuries, but why do they look so happy?
Yeah. Why do they look so happy? Why do they look young? Actually, in a scientific research, I read one of the papers. Scientific, I forgot where it is now. Scientific research says if you are meditating 15 minutes a day, every day, without missing, every day for 15 years, then you looks like a 15 year younger than your actual age.
Oh, no stress.
Yeah. So this is not just the Deva who noticed it. Even the current scientists have noticed it.
They do. There's a lot that says that the whole brain circuitry is completely different than regular meditation.
And this is the same with me as well. What was the girls came to study Buddha Dhamma, right? We have a Sunday school, and then one day they came to offer a dana, and then that was their birthday. And then I asked their birthday, how old they are, and then do you know how old am I? My age. And then they don't know, so I asked them to guess. And they guessed and I guessed. Do you know how old am I? They guessed. Only 20s.
Hey, that's why I thought you were early 30s at first.
Yeah. So they thought I'm early 20s, and I was laughing. I'm already 40.
You are actually 40?
I'm 42 now. This September.
Yeah, no, I don't look it. No.
Yeah. So that's again when I read this article about the scientific research found your complexion or your looks more younger than actual age. I do agree with that. Because I have seen the examples.
You say you just don't, because there's no too much stress, like even if you have stress it goes away. It's like you don't have too many serotonin, too many hormones, and free radicals just eating away at your body. It's just
Like that. So now let's see what the Buddha said. Answer to the Deva. It's very beautiful. So Buddha said, they do not sorrow over the past. Okay? They do not sorrow over the past, nor do they hanker for the future. Yeah? They maintain themselves with what is present. Hence, their complexion is so serene. Yeah? And then further, he said, through hankering for the future, through sorrowing over the past, fools dry up and wither away like a green reed cut down.
That's so true, right? If you ask anyone what they like, why they're so stressed out, is I'm so worried about
Yeah.
like my job, like where am I gonna get a promotion in the future, or like this happened to me, I'm so angry at that person before.
So that is so beautiful, this sutta. I love it.
Yeah.
And it tells all about the meditation. Completes here.
Be in the present.
Yeah. Leave the present. Leave the present. Be here and now. Moment here and now. This is, I love this sutta. And I have quoted it so many times in my teachings.
Pretty funny as well. Like,
Yeah.
fools wither away.
Like that. So that's why practice of meditation is just, whatever occurs, whatever happens here and now. And you're not worrying about the past and the future. And basically, the very moment when we leave the past, automatically we become more happier.
Yeah. So much weight from the
Yeah.
past. Just carrying on your back.
Yeah.
It just falls off.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's also, you can notice when someone become a monk or a novice, even just for a few days, the very moment when they become, and after they have wear the robes, the complexion changes, and the appearance changes immediately, automatically, because it's like a newborn. You have given up the past. Yeah, like that. So it's like taking old coats away.
Yeah. I feel
Like that. And with that, obviously, it brings happiness. And when what is called the negative hormones are not created, obviously all the muscles and all the cells are basically healthy.
Yeah.
The airflow will just go, and oxygen is well flood.
It's like, even though we get little sleep and little food, we feel very good.
Yeah, because it's all fully used it, and with that, our health become more healthier. That's why there are the benefit of a practice of a meditation. Some illnesses can be cured, and again, those who are very stressed, they have rust skin, rash in in their skin, and with the meditation, significantly they could get benefit from that skin rash. And that's basically the benefit of the practice, isn't it? And the same with the blood pressure. When you have a stress, the pressure and the blood pressure just accelerate. Whereas very moment when you take even a few breaths, you don't have to meditate. The level of blood pressure slows down. And these are the benefits. And also what's called serotonin. The things just changes your brain.
Adrenaline. When you're excited and anxious, it's just pumping through your body, raising your heart rate and slowly eating away.
Yeah. So that's a practice of meditation, basically learning to be what is going on here and now. Always helpful. That's why, Lomposo, like him, say, when you know how to stop, you have arrived.
That's true.
And And that's the reason why Luang Por Sot always told his disciples, keep your mind on the central of your body. Always keep in your central of the body.
Okay. So not going forward, but just here.
Yeah, just here in your central. That's all. And this is where you stop. And you're stopping here, and everything is done.
Just hit the brakes.
Yeah, everything is done. And when you're stopping here, basically you stop proliferating anything that's happening. You simply know that's happening, and which is known as the real vipassana. Knowing as they are. Dite ditamattang, sute sutamottang. Knowing, seeing as they are, hearing as they are. That's it, done. There is no furthering that this is this color, that color, I like this, I don't like this, nothing. You stop here, stopping. Done, job is done. And the classic example that I like the Buddha, Luang Por gave is, in a worldly life, you have to have a fastest vehicle to attain or to arrive the destination as quickly as possible.
Everyone wants that.
Yeah. Everyone knows it. It's simple. If you want to go fast, if you want to get there, you have to go to fast.
Catch the plane.
Yeah. Whereas Luang Por said, if you want to attain the nibbana, you have to know how to stop. The moment when you stop, you have arrived. That's all.
Okay, that's good. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Why are you in such a hurry to get there? You're gonna get there anyway.
Yeah.
It's like
So I think we stop here. This is the 10th sutta in this section. So section 1 ends now.
Okay.
So number 10 is done. Then we will go on to the next section. It's called Nandana. Nandana means the entertainment. Okay, so thank you.